food giant General Mills just confirming inflation is not only a problem, it is the worst it's been in 30 years. Well, it's not alone. How bad is this going to get, and why is the government still calling this inflation issue tame? We've got money watcher Larry Glazer, who says it's anything but. Right, Larry, what do you see going on?
That's right, Neil. Well, anyone who's been to a grocery store recently knows that inflation is a real and growing problem in this country. And they also know that there's a disconnect from what they're hearing from Washington, where they're calling this tame or transitory, from what they're seeing in their real lives. It is a real problem. And as you mentioned, when we hear a corporate bellwether like General Mills, the maker of Cheerios and Yoplait yogurt, Progresso soups, all those daily items that fill our cupboard, when they're talking about the worst inflation in 30 years, that's going to filter its way right through to the consumer.
Then why are they lying about it?
Okay,
why is the government officially lying? I could see a sinister plotting. I don't want to sound like a grassy knoll theorist, but if you are keeping interest rates artificially low to sort of keep this recovery, if you call it that, going, then you certainly don't want to report or even condone any news that would indicate the inflation you say isn't a problem is a problem.
That's right. That's right. Well, certainly it is a political issue. There's no question that if we recognize that there is an inflationary problem, it puts a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve to revisit the policies that they have in place. Those policies which are designed to supplement and subsidize interest rates to keep the housing market going. But it's killing the consumer on Main Street, Neil. And what we saw in the 1970s is the dark days of the Carter administration, right? We saw Gerald Ford with whip inflation now. Once you let the inflation genie out of the bottle, you can't get him back in. And that's the direction we're headed if we don't address the real root of the problem.
Which is?
And Neil, the real root of the problem is the purchasing power of the dollar. That's what we all know is the source of the issue here.
In other words, the dollar's been tanking. By the way, that's the big issue with gas, because gas, well, it's priced in dollars. What is the more current constant and the more worrisome variable is Washington's lack resolve when it comes to dealing with the budget. We haven't had one in better than 3 years. And controlling the spending. It is uncontrollable. Right. That has cheapened our dollar. Right. That has made a mockery of this process. Anything priced in dollars is getting more expensive. They know that, so they're pointing their fingers at any other source but themselves.
That's right. And it all comes down to the debt, Neil. When we have $15 to $16 trillion national debt going through the roof, it's going to weigh on the dollar. You fix the debt, you fix the dollar, you improve the inflationary issue, and you help Main Street with food prices. It's just that simple, and no one wants to recognize the reality of what we're dealing with here.